Hello everybody, Vagran Gaming, and this time it's going to be something a little bit differently. This is some tips for video editing, mostly related to your Star Wars videos and mostly related to Windows Movie Maker. Some of the principles can be applied to anything. You could view it as kind of a strategy, or at least some suggestions for strategy. But the thing with video editing, when you're editing your videos for YouTube, a lot of it will come down to your personal preference, and as you get used to whichever your editor of choice is, whatever options you get more comfortable with. When I first started uploading videos, it was pretty much just a straight upload. I'd start at the beginning, end recording, and throw it up, and that was pretty much it. Over time, I got more and more comfortable with using Windows Movie Maker, and I got a bit more in depth with what I would do with it. And also, I found that there is a way to render your videos at max resolution, which is 1080p, and at 60 frames per second. By default, it's capped, but in a minute, I'll go through that and show you how that can be fixed. So, for this video, when I was recording it, I had some audio playing on my second monitor, and it doesn't really work for this. And also, I'm planning on putting on commentary. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Video Tools, Edit, Video Volume, drop it down to 0. So the audio is muted. And then what I'm going to do is, at the very end, once I've got everything trimmed down, I'll find some music that'll hopefully fit as closely as possible to whatever time is left, put that on, adjust the volume, and then I'll go back and I'll do the commentary over that. So, before I do that, one of the things I like to do is eliminate times that I'm spent in the respawn. So if I get killed and the process it takes from dying to getting back into the action, I try to cut that down as much as possible. Now everybody has their own style, but the reason why I do that is there's a ton of really good YouTubers out there. There's some pretty big channels out there, and because I have a small channel, I appreciate everybody that takes the time to check out my videos. So, I try to keep people in the action for as long as possible, just so I'm not wasting anyone's time. That's just how I personally look at it. But if you're doing it differently, that's totally fine. This isn't to criticize anyone. This is just what I shoot for. So, I skipped past the introduction, which someone was nice enough to make for me, and then I'm going to grab the scroll bar here, and I'm basically going to just shoot through the timeline. I'm going to try to find out where I die. I'm pretty sure I do at some point. And we're going to edit that out. Well, we're not going to edit out the death, just the respawn. So, let's go ahead and start dragging. And I'm mostly watching my health bar. Obviously, it's right here. I'm going to keep an eye on the health bar. When it starts to get low, that's when I'll start to slow down. So, it got a little low there, but it looks like some healing came in. So, we're still good. Doing alright. Did I die at the end there? Nope. I was about 50% and the run ended. So this is actually a decent point to do the first edit, because there's that gap between the fade to black and then when things pick up again. So there we go. Perfect. Fades to black. We're going to right click on the timeline here. Split. And then I'm going to go forward until just before the gate opens. There we go. Down to 1. There we go, 0. And then we're going to right click on the bar again, split, and this big chunk here, there's really no point in it being there, so remove. And just to make it a bit easier on the viewer, so it's not as jarring, we'll go to animations and we'll pick this little guy right here. So when you're done, it looks like this. See? All that dead air where there really wasn't anything happening, removed. Just keeps people in the action longer. So now we're going to move ahead and we're going to keep an eye out for deaths. There should be at least one. It's pretty rare I get through a match without dying. Although this was a decent run. Made it all through round 1. Oh, getting low. Oh, recovered. Getting low again. That's really low. Odds are I'm not going to recover from this, so we'll hit play. Oh yeah. We got the L on that one. So now I'm just using this button to skip ahead a little bit. I see that I clicked the button, so that means I'm about to respawn. So when we go back over to the video bar here. I'm just calling it timeline. I'm not really sure what this section is called. I mean, this is the preview window. I guess this would be the timeline, if anything. So we'll do a split. And this is pretty much the end of the match. So there's no point in keeping a lot of this in there. We're going to skip ahead, and I think one of the bridges comes down. Yeah, we pretty much were guaranteed the win at this point. There's just no way in that amount of time they'd be able to catch up. So once that light goes out, there we go. The light from him capping that terminal just went out, so that's as good a time as any. We're going to split, and then we're just going to remove all this dead air where it's just basically me standing there waiting to see what happens. This time we'll use the whiteout, and it's just personal preference. Typically, the first time I do an edit, I'll use this one, and after that, I'll alternate back and forth between these two. So let's see how that looks. Let's rewind a little bit. So I get wrecked by this operative and merc combo, and there we have it. So the bridge is down, and I'm going to charge in. Nothing really is going to happen, but this will basically be my 10-second warning to wrap it up as far as commentary goes, because that's going to be the last thing I do before I render it. Okay, so that's that. Then the scoreboard should be popping up any second. And just in case that anybody got any funny ideas, I hit aw. Sometimes people get cheeky at the end of a match. Ooh, level up. It's always nice. So I voted for the guy with the top objectives. He most likely planted something. And I did okay for damage this time. Okay, so it looks like that happens right at the end, which is fine. So I'm pretty much done with all the edits I'm going to preview for this video. So next I'm going to check the time, which is about 8 minutes 37 seconds minus 10 seconds, or it's like 10-11 seconds for the introduction. So 8 minutes and 26 seconds. So I'm going to try to find a combination of songs that last about that long. I'll throw them in, adjust the volume, and then I'll go back and I'll record the commentary. Because I got a lot of good feedback, which was very helpful from the people that watch my videos. They're like, yeah, keep doing the commentary. So I'm like, sure, you guys got it. That's another big thing, is I'm taking into account your audience feedback. As your channel grows, and when you're just starting out, it can be a slow and steady process. As you get more regular viewers and they start being more vocal with what they prefer, it's a good idea to take that into consideration, because it will help you improve. And honestly, now that I'm doing it more often, because just doing music over it is definitely simpler, but now that I've gotten used to it, I enjoy doing the commentary. So I'm going to say thanks to the viewers for that one. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to show off as far as suggestions. You know, just editing out when you've got dead space where nothing's really happening. You're sitting behind a respawn, or you're just chilling out because you're guarding a node. That's stuff that you don't really need to have on there. The only exception to that when I'm doing a video is if I'm in voice chat with my guild mates and we're discussing relevant things to the match, or if we're just being silly and someone says something funny, then I'll keep it in. But since it's just a commentary video, there's really no point to show the respawn time waiting. So the last thing, we're going to go back to home, and now we're going to talk about how to render this at 60 frames. By default, it's capped at 30. So if you go under Save Movie, we're going to scroll down. Or actually, I don't think you even have to scroll down to get to it, but Create Custom Setting. Now, I already made one, but I'm just going to show you guys how it goes, just in case. Setting is new. Name. Let's call it 60 FPS. You can name it whatever you want. So first, you got to set your height and your width. So we're going to go 1920. Then we're going to do 1080. I'm leaving bitrate right where it is because I'm obviously an amateur video editor. I'm not really sure what the optimal setting for the bitrate is, so I'm just going to leave it like that. For frame rate, we're going to go 60. And for audio, let's go for the high quality. I think this is it. It's considered DVD quality for audio. And after that, you hit save. The only reason why I'm not hitting save right now is because I've already made this setting. Do I want to save? No. So if you just assume that I'm done editing this, I've added the music, I've added the commentary, any notes, if anything special comes up, you can put captions, which is pretty simple. Oh, actually, that is something I did want to show you guys. I've seen some people's videos that they do captions, and I love reading the captions, but let's do something I would do. Enjoy the match. So let's say we're going to add this bit of text right here, enjoy the match. You'll notice as I scroll around, it can be a little bit harder to read depending on the background. So you position it. You decide how you want to implement it. When I do text in the beginning, I usually use this setting because it kind of like comes out and enlarges and then fades away. So let's do that one. And honestly, you can do whatever you prefer. There's quite a few options. Some of these are, I think, is this one of the sparkly ones? Well, I guess sparkly isn't the best way to describe it. Oh, okay, that's a little sparkly. So that's kind of nice. I might use that sometime. A bunch of these I've never used. Oh, that's a good one. I like that. It gets bigger. Okay, so we've selected the animation for the text. The text is selected. So now we're going to do outline size. And I guess whichever you prefer. I usually go with narrow. And then outline color. And we're going to choose black. The reason why is because no matter what you're typing, or no matter what colors are in the background, white text with a black outline is very easy to read. So when we hit play, I mean, it jumps right out. And it's very easy to distinguish the text from the background. So again, white text, black background, it can be read over pretty much any color. Doesn't matter what it is, it'll stick out, which is one of the things that I like about the basic tools that you have in Windows Movie Maker. The only reason why I mentioned this is there were some videos I've seen, I enjoyed the video, I enjoyed the caption, but at certain points, they were hard to read because they were just the white text. So it's just a simple tweak you can do that makes your text easier to read. So hopefully that tip, if nothing else, will be helpful to you guys. So again, just to jump back, because I'm kind of all over the place, just assume I've put in the music, adjusted the volume for it, done the commentary, so I'm done, that's it. Go back to home, and under Save Video, if you scroll to the bottom, your custom settings should be there, which is your 60 frames per second render, assuming your graphics card can handle that. And then you just click on that and your video will render. So that's pretty much it as far as tips for editing videos in Windows Movie Maker. Hopefully that's helpful to some of you guys. And as always, feel free to rate, comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.